All right, so those are the two songs of Manga Manga and Rusha Ju. So these, Samson, are the songs that introduced you to the music industry in Kenya.
Yes, right. And I'm glad to say Rusha Ju was part of KTN Music. When I launched it, it used to play. When they were advertising KTN Music, the clip, part of the video was being aired to advertise KTN Music.
Right.
And I'm excited to be back at KTN.
Absolutely. Yeah. That must have been a big milestone for you at the time.
It's a big milestone, just like any other artist would like to be aired on a big media station, because KTN is one of the biggest media stations in Kenya for quite some time. Yes, so to be aired here is a big privilege.
Right. Now, before we listened to that, I wanted to talk about, after your career in music production flourished and you became a fully fledged, entrepreneur with music production, at what point do you decide when to start paying yourself and what to do with the rest of your profits? Because this is something a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling with. Many of them either don't pay themselves or pay themselves all the profit. So how do you go about that?
No, you have to give yourself a salary. And as well, you have to remember to save. So if you use the rules, if you have to save at least 10%, you save at least 10%. Give 10% to God.
Right. And do you do that? Most people talk about that 10% tithe. Do you do that?
I do that. It's, for you to be successful, you have to follow the rules and the principles. And for me, I believe when I give 10% to God, He blesses me. Many times when I give, I get calls for people wanting to record albums. So I believe somehow it's not a coincidence. I believe it's a blessing from God.
Right.
And as well, you have to check how much you're spending on your rent, for example. It needs not to be more than 10% of your earning.
Right.
Yes. As for me, I'm lucky, I'm blessed. I managed to build for myself a home. I don't pay any rent at the moment. I don't get scared when I hear knocks on my door that the landlord is coming. In fact, I get excited when I get knocks on my door. I know maybe somebody is bringing some rent, or maybe an artist is bringing some money. Because where I stay, the same apartment, is the same apartment where I put my studio.
Right.
So for me, I leave ground floor to go to work in first floor. It's exciting.
All right, that's really good. But do you think, now that you brought that up, that, like you say, what you spend should not be more than 10%, of your profit or something like that? Because many times people live beyond their means, and more so artists, because they have to maintain a certain image. And so they live way beyond their means, and that means it also interferes with your work business-wise, because you don't have the money to keep pushing, for that. So how would you, speak to such artists, just to live within their means?
You're allowed to spend 70% of your earning, and 30%, I said, part of 10% you give to God, 10% you save. And it's how much you save that will build you. I'm not saying you eat skuma and ugali so that you save. No, eat nyama, ugali, sukuma, but remember you need to save. No matter how tight your budget is, you must save. I remember when I was building my first apartment, it was quite tight. And apart from channeling money to my project, at some point I stopped saving. But I said, what has brought me this far is the saving. So I said, I must save, even if it's 10,000 a month, even if it's 5,000, because I used to save 50,000 a month.
Right.
I said, even if it's 5,000, I must save. And I started saving with our cooperative, Wanandege Cooperative. And after some time, I realized saving 5,000, it has risen to 100,000. And when I was finishing my house, I had about 600,000, and it was not enough to do finishing. So I approached my cooperatives and got 3 times the 100,000 and got 300,000 to finish the house.
Because you saved.
Because I saved. I struggled to save. You know, you need to get into a system where it's a check-off system, where you don't even touch that money. It's deducted before it goes to your bank,
Right.
or before it reaches you. Because it's not easy to have that discipline. Money comes into your hands, then you say, I'm going to remove 10,000 to save. It's difficult. So you need to get to a check-off system whereby your money is slashed before it goes to your bank or before you access it. Yeah, it's painful, but to succeed, you must save.
Right. Important lessons there from a man who's been through it all. Samson, thank you so much for speaking to us. He is now a young millionaire earning millions of shillings a month, and he managed to make a business out of his passion for music production. It is at that point that we wind up the Weekend Express this morning. Let's leave it with Faster, Faster, another one of the productions by Sam G.